Recently, Rome Millennial, a YouTuber with over 150,000 subscribers, had an interview with prominent white nationalist, president of the National Policy Institute, and co-editor of AltRight.com, Richard Spencer. And this caused a bit of a ruckus online. So people took issue to the interview for different reasons, including another YouTuber, ContraPoints. By the way, Contra's videos are actually really good, better than mine probably, so I really recommend watching them. Contra and Roaming Millennial had some spats on Twitter and eventually decided to have a live hangout discussing the issue. So far, I haven't seen much discussion of this issue outside of that hangout, a few Twitter conversations, and Bearing also did a video on it, which we're going to look at in a bit. I don't think any of these do the topic justice, so I'm throwing my 2 cents into the issue. As if I haven't kicked enough hornet's nests already.
But I do think engaging with people you disagree with is a valuable, worthwhile exercise. For you personally, and if you've got an audience of some kind, for them as well. Now the response that statement would get from most of these whinging SJWs is something like, "But Richard Spencer isn't just someone you disagree with, he's an actual Nazi." And I'm sorry, but that's just fucking retarded. If you don't disagree with someone, then you agree with them. Pick one.
This was a weird argument. And I know Bearing's not supposed to be some intellectual powerhouse, but if he's wrong, he's wrong. The word just there, that changes the grammar of the sentence. They're not denying that he's someone they disagree with, they're pointing out that that's not the only thing that he is. Do you see the grammatical issue of that sentence?
I see your point, but it's a ridiculous point. When is anyone only someone who disagrees with you? So you disagree with Richard Spencer and he's a white nationalist. I disagree with you and I'm also an Australian. Sargon disagrees with you and he's also a YouTuber. Nobody's ever going to be only someone who disagrees with you. So the word just in that sentence is pretty redundant. I've always taken the statement not just someone you disagree with to mean Spencer is on some other level of super double plus disagreement, which of course doesn't exist. And I've taken it that way because, as I said, the way you're explaining it is redundant. Now looking back at it, I do agree that that was a weird argument. But it was a weird argument because you don't necessarily have to agree or disagree with somebody. You can be neutral.
Okay, cool. And there's counter arguments to that, like the fact that there's awkward definitions of the term Nazi, and also that this stick your head in the sand and don't engage style of political punditry has been going on for a long time and hasn't curbed the rise of white nationalism. So I don't actually think it's particularly a good idea. So there are good arguments against that statement there. However, that's not the main issue here. The main issue is that's not Contra's argument.
Fucking hell, Contra. For someone who reckons that Roaming Millennial shouldn't allow people she disagrees with to express their thoughts on her channel...
This is the only other point in the video worth addressing, and it's a really bad one, because that wasn't ContraPoint's issue with the interview. And Bearing knows it, since when Vadim took him to task on Twitter for this claim, Bearing responded with this video clip.
I know there are a lot of people who are saying that, I mean, online, that you're saying that, you know, don't talk to him at all. And it's, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, your issue is with not just the interview itself, which I think a lot of people did have issue with, but also kind of the way that it was conducted, I guess, if I'm right.
Yes.
Yeah. Contra's issue with the interview was the softball nature of it and the way Roaming went about it, not the fact that it happened in and of itself.
Contra's issue was with the fact that the interview happened in and of itself and the way Roaming Millennial went about the interview. It seems you're the one having grammatical troubles now. See, when Roaming says your issue is not just the interview itself...
Your issue is with not just the interview itself.
She's saying, so I understand you had an issue with the interview itself and...
But also kind of the way that it was conducted, I guess.
She's confirming that Contra took issue with two things, the interview itself and the way that it was conducted. It's the word also, David.
But also kind of the way that it was conducted, I guess.
That tells us there was more than one issue.
So, yeah, this is pretty dishonest of you, Bearing.
Is that right? Well, if there was only some other way we could get a feel for Contra's view on this. Oh, I know, how about Contra's tweets on the issue? Let's see. I believe in free speech. Let Spencer rave on a street corner about shipping the black people to Madagascar. That's where he belongs. Yeah, and I'm not much of a defender of that stuff, but I draw the line at free speech as a defence of choosing to platform him. Yes, you can refute fascist ideas. I have multiple YouTube videos doing just that, but don't give them a platform to spout racial hate. Free speech does not mean you're obligated to invite any sinister crackpot fascist onto a respectable platform. We never pretended that free speech obligated us to give a platform to people we radically disagree with. Yeah, see, to me, those tweets really make it sound like Contra had an issue with Spencer being given a platform on Roaming's channel. Now, I noticed that these tweets have conveniently been deleted from Contra's account, but not before I was able to screen grab them and share them with Vadim. By the way, Vadim forgot to reply to that one, which was odd. Now, although they have been deleted from Contra's account, there are still remnants of them remaining in various offshoot conversations.
But even more dishonest is Roaming Millennial doing a 180 and defending Bearing.
I'm sorry, how exactly did Roaming Millennial do a 180?
Like, you already let Contra clarify multiple times in your Hangout, and you also succinctly explained his position.
Yeah, she did, and Contra confirmed.
I know there are a lot of people who are saying that, online that you're saying that, don't talk to him at all. And it's, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, your issue is with not just the interview itself, which I think a lot of people did have issue with, but also kind of the way that it was conducted, I guess.
And now you're like, why? I can't understand this.
Clearly. But I know you're not supposed to be some intellectual powerhouse, so don't beat yourself up, mate. Cheerio.